Hello, and welcome to the Visibility Corner with myself, Barbara J. Beckley, and wonderful guests and experts that I bring on so you can understand, first of all, who these individuals are. They're lighthouses of the world, as I say. And then at that point, just getting just pulling out some little tips, some little teachable moments when it comes to, as it says up there, visibility. Now, I created this show because I really wanted people to understand how important it is to be visible in your lane of expertise. And I always tell people, how are people going to get to know who you are, your product, your services, or whatever you do in life without understanding who you are, without putting yourself out there? I know social media could be a jungle. I get it. But if you do it the strategic way, it doesn't have to be. If you put yourself out there on podcasts, or if you're talking, or even if you're on your own website, whatever the case may be, visibility is the key so people know who you are, because it's important. You're not doing things in the world just because. You're doing it because you want to help others. So this is where we come together and we meet people that are doing things, like I said, in their business, and also learning from them far as how visibility in their own lane of how they do. So today, as I always say, when I always have women come on the show, I call them queens because I look at them as royalty. And we have a wonderful queen today that's coming on. I'm telling you, she is a powerhouse. Leticia Francis is a marketing research strategist for coaches, consultants, and OSP. She supports them with leveraging marketing research so they can strategically, just heard that word already, right? Position themselves in business. She is also currently traveling full time with her family. And I'd like to hear full time with her family because she's located in Turkey. Yes, that means that we are global. This is a global platform now, and she is all over the world helping others with what she does. So, with that, before I even bring her on, because when we bring on royalty, we just can't just pop up on the screen. We got to make sure we do it right. So, after this one little clip, we will be right back with the wonderful queen. Hello, lady.
All right, that brought a smile to my face.
Yes. Okay, that's all I needed to do is make sure I put a smile on your face because I love doing that. So, queen, as you are, welcome to the Visibility Corner.
Thanks
I
for
want to
having
say
me.
that first before we even start talking, lady, because you took your time out, especially now that I even found out that you're from Turkey, and
Mhm.
it's a whole different time zone. And I know you're a busy lady, so thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me here.
Yes. So I just want to, I'm going to get right into it because one thing I love to do before we even start the conversation, because I look at interviews as conversation so people get to know who you are more so than a
Mhm.
lot of just bunch of questions and back and forth. The one thing I always say, I call it turning the curtain, open that little curtain to a person's life story. And for you, I know you're a marketing research strategist right now, but before
Mhm.
you became this big, amazing person that's helping coaches around the world and everything. I know it just didn't start when you were born. So, how did you get into this field?
So I have a history in law enforcement and a history in data analytics. And we'll get into this a little later, but I've combined my experiences and my skills to dominate my industry. And before I became a coach, I was working at Lloyd's of London, the oldest insurance institution in the world. And I made a decision that I needed to step out on my own so that I can be authentically me. And as a result of the work that I did in the coaching space, I learned that a lot of people weren't positioning themselves strategically. Most women coaches, they just showed up because, they've probably been coaching their whole life before they even knew the definition of coaching. But no one that I was coming across that were wanted more, wanted to make more money and wanted to make more impact really understood how to leverage data so that they can have big business success. Whether we're solopreneurs or not, we have the opportunity to make it just as much money as these big institutions. And if you look at an institution like Coca-Cola, they don't release anything without
Mhm.
doing research for 8 or 9 months. And here I saw the need to help, women entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, service providers really understand how to leverage data because that was my role before I came into the coaching industry.
That, you know what? Ooh, Queen, I love that because you're right. You made a good point. Sometimes I tell people, look at these bigger corporations and what they're doing, and kind of follow their lead because they didn't get to a certain point in their business just like it took a lot, some work. It took some, like you, some strategies. It took some studying and pulling numbers and trying to see where things are. Focus groups. I tell people that's a wonderful thing to use, and you can use that in a small business too.
Mhm.
Um, so I love how you brought all your experience together and became this marketing research strategist. So it's almost like you created your own position within what you were doing for all your skills that you had, your experience.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I teach my clients. You need to be able to leverage your brilliance. And your brilliance is a result of the experiences and the skills that you picked up along the way. And if you are just trying to show up like everyone else, there's no way for you to establish yourself as an authority, to dominate the industry that you're in, to really get visible, to be honest, because you are just in a sea of mediocrity. But when you step into your brilliance, this is when you shine. This is when you dominate. And I think it's very important not to forget there's nothing lost. All of our experiences serve for something and they can all help us make money.
Yes. Oh, Quinn, I love how you said about, not being like everybody else. You have to dominate. You have to bring your expertise out, and people need to see that.
Mhm.
In a way, I always tell people your uniqueness is your secret sauce. That's
Absolutely.
something that, you need to bring to the table to people, that you're different from another person. And not so much, people like, well, the competition and all that. I said, no, I always tell them I'm competing with myself because I'm
Mhm.
always trying to make myself better and be that expert that people want to come to whatever I have, whatever, I put out there. I want to be the best at that point, and I want to study it, build skills with it, and everything else. So I think what you're saying, Queen, when you said that about you have to step yourself out of your own comfort zone sometime. Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Now, one other thing, I know you said that far as a marketing research, you help coaches, consultants. Now, when you go to, like, say for instance, if a coach comes to you and wants to work with you regarding that, what is like the first step that you take with them?
The first step is understanding the brilliance that you're bringing to the table, that what we just spoke about, right? In order for you, as I said, to get visible, to make a name for yourself, you have to understand how you are different. And we grow up in a society where we are almost forced to comply in business. That is the absolute opposite. So I really work with my clients on understanding what their competitive advantage is, what gaps they are filling in the marketplace, so that they can establish authority quite quickly in their business. That's the absolute first step.
Yes, that's good because you, like you said, first I always say you got to start with you and what you bring to the table, who you are, and believe in it. Now that's
Hmm.
another thing. A lot of times people will say, "Oh, I do this and this," and I asked the question. I said, "Okay, how are you really confident in what you're doing with clients and people?" Well, yeah, I am. I feel like I do, well, and I want to make sure that they say that and they say it proud and they say it strong because if they don't, everything else that you do with that client is going to be kind of difficult because now they're fighting themselves of really understanding that they, like you said, they are the expert, they're the authority in their career and what they're doing. So
Absolutely.
you asked that, yes, definitely. Now, I also wanted to ask you. Now, let's. I want to get into this. Is something that I've known, Queen, that has been a very big challenge for people, and that's knowing their ideal client. See, you even did a chuckle.
I did chuckle because you are right. People really struggle with this. And what I have a problem with, like, I got really passionate about this conversation, right? There, everybody's heard, if you're in business, you've heard about the ideal client avatar. This is this one dimensional piece of information about your ideal client. And the reality is, knowing what your ideal clients eat and how much money they make and how old they are does not help you serve them.
Mm.
And so many people focus in on just that. I know the demographics. I know where I know that they like to shop at this place and they buy these kind of magazines. Honey child, that does not help you solve anyone's problems. So you have to get a deeper understanding of your ideal client. And I like to say, when I work with clients, we go deep and not wide. We are really focusing on the psychographics, the problem state, the desired state, what is holding them back from achieving what they want, and also on having a solid understanding of the solutions that they're looking for. What I find in this space a lot of times is we're creators, but if we don't understand how what we are creating is impacting our ideal clients, we fall flat. If we cannot articulate the value of what we are creating for our ideal clients, we fall flat, which is why it's so important for us to get a soul level understanding of our ideal clients. And it also impacts how we show up, how we get visible, right? We need to understand where our ideal clients are showing up online, what type of content they are consuming. Um, just because you have TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn doesn't mean that you need to be in all these places, especially if all your ideal client is looking at is YouTube shorts. You need to show up where they are. And that comes from having that solid understanding of who you're serving, who you're showing up for. And it goes way beyond their age and their race.
It's funny you said that, and you knocked out a lot of other coaches that I've been under or I've talked to that use that same template about try to find out what your ideal client is. Well, you just need to know, okay, what's the age group? What's their age group? Is it a woman, man? Is it both? Are they in business? Are they entrepreneurs? I mean, they go through the list, how much money they make, what things they like, what things they don't like. And and I always say every person I've seen and talked to like that, I always came out still having struggles.
This
I
is where I come in.
see. And it's sad because I've been through, like, maybe I can't even count anymore how many coaches, or I sat on different training platforms, uh,
Hmm.
you know summits. People come up and they say the same exact thing, and everybody, and I could, and what's so sad about it, I can tell myself struggling with it, but I see everybody's eyes like in a glaze, like, okay, I still don't really know what my ideal client is. And then they
Hmm.
go and then they get more confused. So I'm glad that we need to multiply you like 10,000 times. So you can teach us. We need that, like I said, teach us, please, of how to, go by finding that out.
Hmm.
And like you just said, and just I want to just kind of go back to you on this, where you said understanding, this is what I tell people, their pain points. Very important. So
Absolutely.
I want to ask you, as being that, the research strategist, how do you go by doing that
I
first?
mean, there are so many ways to gather this information, right? My favorite is having a conversation with your ideal client. simply asking questions. But I mean, if you have time constraints, you can go on online forums and seeing what they're asking about, what they're ranting about, what they're complaining about. There is always an opportunity to do research. If your mind is focused on gathering information, and I believe that market research is a continual business activity, it's not a one and done, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's not that. Everything that you do in your business should be gathering more information about the people that you are serving. And if you are focused on that, you will realize that that information literally drops in front of your face if you're looking for it, right? Every
Mm-hmm.
time you're online, you should be interacting with your ideal clients instead of just scrolling through and seeing what Aunt Sally Mae is doing. You need to be really intentional about how you show up, the type of information that you're consuming, and that information can be strategically used in your business so that you can serve your ideal client, so you can show up in front of them in an effective way and actually grow your business. It gives you this space to capitalize on business opportunities when you are focused on gathering information.
Yes. What the biggest thing that you said, that's very well, you said a lot of stuff that's very important, but one thing I love that you brought out too is having the conversation with the individuals. I
Mhm.
think we have lost that in today's world where I don't know. I'm gonna put it out there. I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it. We've gotten lazy. A lot of us has gotten lazy, and they try to use everything else around to kind of maybe try to get away from, okay, I just have to have this conversation or just talk with this person. Even to the point, and you mentioned like the different social media platforms. One thing that really, really, you know how something, just one thing to get on your really last nerve is when people reach out to me in LinkedIn in Messenger and they say, "Oh, my name is ta 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 ta, and I sell this, and like to have to talk to you about something. I do this, and I know this would be wonderful for you." And boom, let's have a talk. And I'm sitting there like, okay, most of the time, have you even read my bio? Have you even understood who I am? And I'll give you a good example of this one in particular salesperson, because he was a salesperson that will sell me, "Oh yeah, I know you need this particular product, Barbara, and I see that you're going to need this." And it was enhancements for men enhancement. Now, I am not a man, and I don't need that. Okay, now I can give him credit if he was trying to say, "Well, this might be for your boyfriend, whatever." But he didn't. It was directed towards me. I was like, that is really sad that you're sitting here, you're doing a cut and paste, because I knew they did that, and didn't even get a chance to get to understand who I was.
Mhm. I
So
think you bring up an important point, right? And I have an example to share with you as well. But an important point is when we're in business, we should be looking to build relationships, right? One of the things that really bothers me in this space is that we don't build enough relationships. We want to sell at first go. And it reminds me of Married at First Sight. And if you've watched that, you know these marriages don't necessarily work out because they don't take the time to get to know who they're marrying, right? And it's the same in business. Take the time to get to know the people that are in your audience, that are in your network. And this gives you the opportunity to craft different offers or products and services to suit their needs. But if you don't ask, they won't tell and they'll go to somebody else to buy. And to your example, I just this week I had someone pop in my inbox on LinkedIn selling me more confidence and help me live my best life. And I said to her, I'm living my best life. I travel full time. I have a thriving business. But if you spend 2 minutes understanding that you could build a relationship with me before you try to sell to me, you would do a lot better. And I turned that code DAM into a sales code for me because it highlighted to me that she needed my help.
yes, it's the other way around.
We flipped the script.
Ah, and and it's like you said, just adding on, because this is very important. I think the biggest thing, like you said, is building those relationships, like you said, and you will find out if you really take that time out. You'll find out what really problem that you need to help them. What problem that they have,
Mhm.
and a lot of times, I think some people, they want to be everything to everybody. if you're not doing so, you can't be everything to everybody sometimes. That's why everybody, there's different flavors of coaches, consultants, and everything else. And I have found out, Queen, that through having discussions with people, I found some things that I could help them with. And I found some things that we could kind of combine and come together with each
Mm-hmm.
other because we have that certain like vibe. And I
Mm-hmm.
found that they might need somebody that I know, one of my other coaches that I know, that can help them. So that's how those conversations come out, where you never know what's going to come out of it and what's going to
Yeah.
happen. And the
Always opportunity for collaboration, always opportunity
yes,
for other business opportunities. But if
yes,
you're not talking, if you're not asking questions, you ain't moving forward.
you're not moving forward. No, you're not. So, and that's why I kind of love having these well, I do. I really love having these conversations with you and other coaches and consultants because I
Mhm.
get to really understand what you do for people. Like I said, you're a lighthouse of the world. You're helping so many to the point where you're saving lives, and people be like, "Wow, Barbara, you go to that extreme." I said, "Yeah," because think about it. If a person is not doing what they really want to do, or having problems, or not having confidence, like you said, in what they're
Mhm.
doing in their business, they start to fail in their own world because they're not doing what they should be doing. So when you bring the
Absolutely.
coaches, when you bring people in and they can say, "Hey, I can help you out here," that's saving that person's life in their business. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that you said that, right? Because oftentimes we don't consider the trickle effect of the problem that our ideal client is sitting in, right? Like for instance, my ideal clients would say their problem is that they don't make enough money. But the
Mhm.
reality is it goes a lot deeper than that. The reason why they don't have enough money or it's becoming a problem is because it's affecting their relationships. It's affecting their health. It's affecting their confidence levels, right? And this is why we need to understand our ideal clients at a soul level. So when we start talking about our solutions, we're not just talking about helping them make money, we're helping them fix their relationships, we're helping them fix their health, we're helping them with their personal development. And these are the things that people are looking for. And if you can articulate that correctly, where it resonates with your ideal client, that's when the success comes in for you.
Yes, yes. And I just want to talk now. I know just talking about that, I know the other thing you do for coaches is you leverage marketing research so they can strategically position themselves for making money in their business. So
Mhm.
after they find out their ideal client, what are other tools that you help them with to get to that point?
So once we understand our ideal client, and I use a 360-degree approach to market research, so we don't just focus on their ideal client, we look at their audience. These are people that they've already built that know, like, and trust factor with. We look at their past clients because we need to figure out what worked and what didn't work. So they are creating programs and services that really do showcase their brilliance. And then we look at their competitors by understanding the gaps that they can fill with the brilliance that we worked on in the first step.
Mhm.
So then we take all of that information together and we create their offer suite, we create a content strategy, we build their client acquisition system, which has a lot to do with visibility. Where are they showing up? Where are they presenting themselves so their ideal clients can discover who they are? And how does that make sense in the realm of their ideal client's world? And then it's about nurturing, building these relationships, and then moving it onto a sales conversation. So I really show my clients how to take that information and plug it in into their business where it makes sense so that they are strategic and intentional about their business activities and they're moving the needle every day.
Yes. Wow. I love that. I love that concept that you work with the your clients. Now, the thing after, like you say, after they found their ideal client and you have those conversations, like you said, and build that I love, like you said, that like trust factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I tell people, if people don't trust you, you can forget it.
Exactly.
It's like you might as well just say, okay, let me to pack up and go home, as I tell people. Because if they can't trust and like you, then you're gonna struggle. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
struggle with that. And the other thing I like what you brought out is something I don't think people, they run away from this. Looking at their competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at their competitors. So I want to just do a little more deep dive in that because that's something I feel like people kind of miss a little bit because they, first of all, they don't want to think about their competitors. They feel like, okay, they're my competitors. Why should I even go there? Why should I even look at them? They might want to come and then I gotta work it out with them or fight with them or whatever. And I feel like people's mindset is not thinking the right way when it comes to looking at their competitors. So can you give us
Mhm.
a little deep dive on that?
Yes, absolutely. So when I talk about looking at your competitors, this is not about comparisonitis. This is again about being strategic, right? And as I said before, if you can understand the gaps that you're filling, this allows you to dominate the area that you're serving in. So when you're looking at your competitors, your direct competitors, your indirect competitors, you want to understand what they're doing, what they're not doing, which is the most important, how they're positioning themselves, and how it's working for them. And when you really understand those dynamics and particularly what they're not doing, this gives you the opportunity to fill that gap, right? So I call myself the market research queen because there is nobody else out here doing what I do. And the reason why I understand that is because I spent time as a business coach and I spent time analyzing other business coaches. No one was focused on market research. It was part of their program, but it wasn't their program, which gave me the opportunity to take my brilliance, my expertise, my skills, my experience, and create a solution for my ideal client that no one else is doing, which then allows me to not have to compete on price. It allows me to establish authority quite quickly, and it allows me to stand out. So when I'm looking to get visible, I don't have to worry about anybody else calling themselves the market research queen because I am the one and only. And I knew that because I went and had a look.
Wow, that is powerful. That is powerful. I mean, that's like a mic drop right there. If anybody's watching this interview, they need to just take that. They need to like say what you just said, write it down, and put it in front of them all the time. You basically you found, like you said, your niche for yourself and branded yourself through looking at the research that you did of other people that are doing what they're not doing. So you looked at the loophole. You look at the loopholes like, okay, they're doing this and this, but they're missing this.
Mm-hmm.
They're missing this piece. And I know I have the skills and the talent for that piece. So you said, okay, no, I got it. So you took that and you made it yours. And like you said, you're the expert in that area now. That is
Absolutely.
brilliant. That is brilliant.
And that's the power of market research, right? And having a 360 approach, not a linear approach, and doing it often because it allows you to stay ahead, it allows you to be the authority, and it allows you to dominate. And that's what we want to do in this space. Domination, queen, domination.
Love it, love it, love it. Oh, Queen, this has been a joy, a wonderful joy. You have taught me so much, and I know the audience has learned a lot too. But before we close, I have two things I want to do. First, I know you gave a lot of different tips. You threw a lot of different tips in there as you were speaking about visibility in your lane of interest. So, can you give us just maybe one more teachable moment that you can give the audience about visibility itself?
Authenticity sells. So once you understand your brilliance, you show up in that as your full, unedited self, and you will attract your people and they will love you for everything that you do.
Well said, well put. You are so right. Yes, and that's what you do, and I'm telling you, shine through. Even if I don't all the way from Turkey, you are shining through. And thank you,
Thank
Queen, for being that, like I said, lighthouse of the world. Now, what I
you.
want to do, I'm gonna take myself down for 30 seconds and just leave any lasting thoughts before we close out, and I'll make sure they get your information so they can contact you. So I'll be right back.
No worries. Audience, life is about being impactful, and I want to encourage you to walk as if every step you take is about to create an avalanche because you are here to change the world. You are here to be impactful. You are here to move mountains. Show up in your authenticity, establish your brilliance, and shine bright like a diamond.
Uh-oh, she took my thing, shine bright like a diamond. I love it. As soon as I heard that, because I always say that because my I think my class was called the Diamond Factor Network. So yes,
Yeah.
you are right on top of things together. So I want to make sure that I put down your website to make sure they can reach you.
Mhm.
And if there's any other like things that you want to announce as far as your coaching package or whatever that you basically offer.
Yes, so my coaching solutions is market research solutions. I have three options. I have a DIY, I have a done with you, and I have a done for you. And I really just I work with you through my market research mastery method to really help you gain more clarity, gain more clients so that you can increase your revenues and in your impact. And that's what I'm all about, being impactful, making a change in the world. So if this is something that you are in a position for, reach out to me um, via my website or on LinkedIn is where I spend most of my time. Leticia R. Francis on LinkedIn. Reach out to me and let's start a relationship. Let's get to know each other.
Yes. And okay, people, there's no excuse because you got to know this wonderful queen now. So all you got to do is really reach out to her because you know what she's about. You know she's the queen. You know she's the expert. So there's no point in questioning, like, no, no question at all. So, lady, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. As I always tell people, when you come on after that, your family. So anytime you want to come back, share any other interesting things that you're doing in your world, please reach out to me and we can bring you back on the Visibility Corner.
Thank you for having me, sis. Thank you.
And thank you for making this platform global. So that's like a double, double, like you gave me a gift. So I appreciate you so much. We will see everybody at the next Visibility Corner with myself, Barbara J. Beckley.